He was actually on the podium. I just looked it up now in 2015 and 2020 in Milan-San Remo. So maybe almost every 5 years he gets on the podium here. So fourth 2 years ago. So he wasn't here last year. So, I mean, he has got a decent record at Milan-San Remo, sixth in 2021. Yeah.
I mean, I did tell you last week to look out for the Jacob Alula riders.
But you also put 12 other riders on that list. So
that is very true. That is very true. I just feel like Michael Matthews, he is reliable in this race. I don't think I would have expected him to win it. No way. But like a podium, I'm not like shocked. Almost beating Philipsen is pretty impressive. And just give a sort of moment for this podium. Poggi in his post-race interview was very complimentary about the podium. These are two of his closest friends in the pro peloton. Philipsen, former teammates, they're good friends outside of sort of the pro ranks. And Michael Matthews and Tadej Pogacar, who are also close friends. They live in the same sort of neighborhood back in Monaco, I believe. So, I mean, for Poggi, it's great to have all those pictures with his friends.
But, I mean, Jasper Philipsen, we haven't talked too much about him. I must say, a pretty nice guy, and the fact that he won this, like you both said, was quite a surprise, even though we sometimes still call it the Sprinter's Monument, but it was kind of the limit for him. Paris-Roubaix is his target this year, obviously finishing second last year. But yeah, and just selfless by Mathieu as well.
Well, he's trying to replicate Mathieu this year with a San Remo Roubaix double, it seems. But he needs to give sort of Mathieu van der Poel a big pat on the back after this one. And Jasper Philipsen afterwards was sort of saying, this is a huge step forward for me. Mathieu van der Poel afterwards saying, I hope he stays with us. This raises questions about potential sort of transfer in the new year. People are sort of speculating it could be UAE. He wrote that beforehand. They're sort of always looking for big name riders. But for Philipsen, this is like a huge step forward for him. Especially because, I mean, he does have that sort of status as the world's best sprinter with that green jersey as well. He's the first green jersey holder to win San Remo in the same year, in the same period as reigning champion since Eric Zabel in the early 2000s. So I think he's definitely consolidated his reputation as the number one sprinter in the world. It's going to be hard to argue against that. Where he goes from here, potentially a Keynes Wavelham win if it comes down to a sprint, but definitely that Roubaix victory is in his sights. But will Mathieu be willing to sacrifice his chances for him there?
I don't know. I just think of Philipsen finishing on a podium of Paris-Roubaix last year was just like a bit of a surprise. I think we can all admit. Winning San Remo this year, that's another surprise. And it's just like I say, I think Ewan's completely correct. Like, I don't think Wow is currently on the Gent Wevelgem start list, and Mathieu is, so it really wouldn't surprise me if Philipsen takes the victory there. But could he be more than that? Could he be a Cobble Classics rider? Could he get is a Dwars d'Or an E3 too hard for him? I'd probably say that Flanders is too hard, but Dwars d'Or is within reach. Because we've seen that, we've seen like when Dylan van Baarle won it a couple of years ago, I think it was, and it was like a mad sprint behind that. You know, he could definitely win that. I'm just kind of wondering where his limits lie. Obviously, he's surprised us 2 years in a row. What if he just keeps going? What if he ends up being the dominant cobbled rider?
He feels almost like what people were hoping, or at least the French were hoping, Arnaud Démare would have become 10 years ago. And sort of being that great cobble sprinter who can do it all, who can compete in a San Remo as well as competing in a Roubaix. Démare never quite delivered. I know he has a San Remo win in his books, but he certainly doesn't compete at the same level as Jasper Philipsen. I think Philipsen is a real talent. Whether he stays at Ampersand-de-Koning or not, we don't know. I'd like to think he'd stay at that team. I think he's got a really good sprint train there. He's got good command over that sprint train. I think that's really important in the sprinting games to have that confidence and command of a sprint train, because at a different team that can all come crumbling down. We've seen it on so many different occasions. So for Philipsen, I hope he stays there and eyes up other big wins. When's the last time we had a sort of big proper sprinter who's also won Roubaix? Sagan doesn't count.
Wait, why? Why does he not count?
Because he was always this versatile guy who could do classics. Like Philipsen, I mean, he's becoming more versatile, but so if he's kind of more of a purebred 4-stage win sprinter.
Yeah, I'd say
on Boonen doesn't count either then.
I mean, Bono kind of, yeah.
He is like Bono.
Yeah.
He is quite similar to him, which is quite cool. I like drawing comparisons to historic riders. It's like the second coming of whoever. Insert name here.
Jasper Philipsen says the second coming of 2014 French prospect Arnaud Demar.
Yeah. I really hope he stays at Alpecin. I would hate to see him go to UAE, even though it would be like a cool bromance with him and Poggy again. It's kind of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, why would you go somewhere else other than with a prospect of if you're not moving forward, you're going backwards? Like, I don't know if that mentality can sort of apply to this scenario, but I just think that Alpecin just have complete chokehold seemingly on the sprinting game, other than when Merlier comes along as well. But yeah, I just don't see why he'd leave Alpecin. It's so dominant. And also, if he did leave Alpecin, outside of Van der Poel, their team would be kind of a little bit shallow, other than like Groves, I guess.
Yeah, they need to sign Merlier back, if that would happen.
Yeah, swapsies.
a bleak world we would be living in.
Basically, yeah. So Merlier goes back to Alpecin. Philipsen goes to UAE. Jakobsen goes back to Quick Step. Christoph goes back to UAE. Like, let's just start. I reckon we should just pick a team out of a hat, pick a sprinter out of a hat, and just do that every year, and just keep shaking it up. I reckon that'll be far more entertaining.
We should make it like the draft system in America. Just have it so like the lowest level World Tour team gets to pick. So RKS Samsic, Albert Bear get to have Jasper Philipsen next year. That'll be pretty sick.
Can Philipsen let's lead out in the world?
But can I just, we make fun of RKBMA, but they actually did win quite a hefty classic this week in Coxada with Luca Mozzato, the Italian sprinter who used to ride for the B&B team that ended up dying back at the end of 2022.
Here we go.
The Paris Cycling Club project, which I remember so fondly.
I'm surprised you don't have that framed, the team. Not just Betchel, but also them.
I'm going to write that one down. That's something for me to sort out later on
a list.
Yeah, like you said, there are other races. But because you two were talking about Jasper Philipsen potentially leaving, or that small rumour, why don't we just bring in our first transfer segment? Yes, we're in March, but apparently there's already transfer rumours. 2 of your favourites have been linked away. And I won't spoil it. So who are they?